Orwell's Reproach. Bob loved bacon. He said it often, grinning wide as he clocked in each morning at the industrial pig farm. Nothing better than a crispy strip with breakfast, he'd tell the other workers, slapping his belly like it was a punchline. 8 years feeding, hosing, and moving pigs toward the final gate. They were pigs. They were food. Simple. When the new litter arrived, one piglet stood out, smaller but different. Whenever Bob leaned over the pen and made his usual taunting noises, snorting, clicking his tongue, dangling a finger, the little thing didn't scatter or squeal mindlessly. It fixed its gaze on him, steady and unblinking, tracking every twitch of his hand as if cataloging it. "You're a sassy little creature, aren't you, Porky?" Bob chuckled. "Think you're special? You'll be in my belly soon enough." He grabbed the ear tagger, scratched Orwell onto the metal in quick, sloppy strokes, and snapped it on. A private joke. George Orwell wrote about pigs running things. This one would end up between 2 slices of bread. Bob was assigned to Orwell's pen most days. At first, he kept up the taunting, but Orwell never flinched like the others. He would step forward deliberately to meet Bob's eyes, then, after a measured beat, turn his back slowly as if dismissing him. Bob laughed it off. Still, he started noticing things. Orwell remembered routines. On mornings Bob arrived 20 minutes early, Orwell was already waiting at the front of the pen, not sleeping like the rest. When Bob wore the red gloves instead of the blue ones, Orwell became more cautious, staying just out of easy reach. Once Bob caught him using a broken piece of slat he'd dragged from the corner. Orwell wedged it under the feeder gate's latch and pushed, methodically, like he'd done it before. The gate shifted a fraction. Bob yanked the slat away, muttering, "Smart ass." But the next day the slat was gone, somehow moved to a new spot when no one was looking. Another time, Orwell stood near a shallow puddle left from the hose. He stared down at his reflection, then moved his head side to side. The image followed exactly. He did it again, slower. Then he turned, looked straight at Bob, and did it once more, as if demonstrating, "This is me. I know it's me." Bob felt a prickle on his neck. "You're looking at me like you know something I don't, Orwell." Months passed. Orwell grew. The eyes never dulled. When Bob was nearby, Orwell often performed small, deliberate actions. He would walk in slow, measured circles, almost a pattern, then stop and stare directly at Bob until Bob looked away first. Other times he lay still, breathing slow and even, pretending ordinary pig sleep while Bob worked. But the moment Bob turned his back, Orwell rose smoothly and resumed whatever quiet experiment he'd been conducting. Bob started avoiding the pen when he could. Then one morning the routine broke. Hazmat suits replaced the usual crew. Long-poled syringes appeared. Bob wasn't on injection duty, but he watched from the walkway. When they reached Orwell's pen, the other pigs thrashed and screamed. Orwell did not. He stepped forward, calm, deliberate, until he was close enough for the pole to reach. He lifted his head and locked eyes with the suited worker. Then, very slowly, he turned his gaze toward Bob on the walkway above. Bob felt the look like a physical weight. Orwell held it. No panic, no plea, just unflinching awareness. Bob turned away. He told himself it was just another day. Weeks later, his wife packed his lunch like always. She hummed as she did it, cheerful. "Got another great deal on bacon from the plant store," she said. "Employee discount's the best thing about your job, Bob. We're eating like kings." She kissed his cheek and sent him off. At break time, Bob sat alone in the corner of the lunchroom. He flipped open the lunchbox. A BLT, perfectly made. Bacon crisp and glistening, lettuce bright, tomato sliced even. The smell rose, salty, smoky, familiar. He stared. Those eyes came back, Not the dull eyes of every other pig he'd ever sent down the line. Orwell's eyes, clear, knowing, patient, accusing. Bob closed the lunchbox. He stood. He walked to the big gray trash bin by the door. He dropped the entire thing inside, sandwich, box, plastic bag, everything. He didn't look around. He kept walking, past the time clock, past the lockers, through the heavy employee exit door, out into the gray afternoon. The factory kept running behind him. Trucks idled. Pigs squealed in distant pens. His wife would ask why he came home early. She would ask about the lunch. She would keep buying the bacon. Bob would never eat it again.